Hello everyone, my name is Romeo Razi. I'm a CPA and I used to work at the IRS. In case you haven't been noticing, there's been a whole lot of talk about this guy in New York who's running for mayor, and his entire platform is
socialism.
And you're probably wondering to yourself, why are all these young people getting way into socialism? So I'm going to tell you a perspective from an accountant CPA that used to work at the IRS, why young people are flocking to socialist ideas. I'm going to go over 7 different things that I think young people are looking at when it comes to this ideology. Number 1, let's talk about housing. Now, if you're a young person and you graduated college, or maybe you went to trade school and you're looking around and you're thinking, part of the American dream is me owning a home. It's something in the DNA of being an American, buying a house. And now here's a picture of a small cottage home, Boise, Idaho. Now you're probably thinking this home in Boise is maybe $400,000. But if you're thinking that, you'd be wrong, because this house is almost $800,000. And it's not even that big. And you've got to ask yourself, if you're a young person coming up in the world, how are you ever supposed to afford this home? And the answer is, you can't. And you're sitting there going, well, hey, they told me that if I just work and do the right things and follow the blueprint, I will eventually be able to get this house or get a house. But it turns out that they can't. So maybe you're thinking, well, they should go get a condo and then eventually upgrade to a house. But the problem is, even condos are $400,000 or $500,000 in Boise, Idaho. Now, maybe you're not living in Boise. Maybe you're living in Vegas. Maybe you're living in Dallas. Maybe you're living in Austin. Maybe you're living in some other city. But you know the cost of buying a house right now with interest rates is so astronomical, you can't buy one. So you can't help but feel like the system isn't working for you. The second reason that young people are gravitating towards socialism, the cost of college. Now, I went to college and I was able to get 3 degrees. I got 1 degree in computer science. I got a 2nd degree in mathematics. I got a 3rd degree, which was a master's in accounting. And then I went and got my professional certification as a CPA. My total cost for all of that from just the local university was around $25,000. Now, if you index that for inflation, maybe let's say it's $50,000 or $60,000 for a little over 330 credits. There is nobody who's getting 330 credits today for $60,000. If you're lucky, you'll go to college, get 1 year of 1 bachelor's, and they're going to charge you $20,000 or $30,000. And then you graduate college, and there are all these millennials that are pushing their late 30s and early 40s, and they still have all this college debt, and they just can't make a way ahead. And they're telling all the young Zoomers, don't do it. Don't end up like us. We got screwed. They told us to go and follow the system and it didn't work. Now, if you went into engineering or becoming a doctor, that's one thing. But there are a bunch of kids, young people that went to college and tried to punch their ticket and follow the blueprint, and it didn't work out. And so these Zoomers are like, not for me. And it's another reason why they're sitting there thinking, maybe I should go towards socialism. The third reason why people are starting to lean towards socialism, the cost of buying a car. Now, when I bought my last car, I was able to go get a 1.99 interest rate on my car. And my monthly payment was like $300, and almost none of it went to interest. Now the average car payment is $700. It's a lot of money for a car. And so people are delaying buying new cars because they can't afford it. And you know how it goes as your car is getting older. When one thing breaks, that means everything's gonna start breaking, and you're gonna have to get one, because in most cities in America, you need to get from point A to B. It's not like certain parts of Europe or Manhattan where you don't need a car. If you live in the city, you could just take the train. And so people are spending all this money and they're not getting good vehicles. And you got to think about it from their point of view. Can't buy a house, can't go to college. I got this crazy college debt. I can't afford a car. Socialism! Those are the kind of things going on in their heads. The fourth reason why people are leaning into socialistic ideology: they can no longer raise a family on the incomes they have. The cost is too much money. You can't raise a family on one income. Shoot, some people can't raise a family on two incomes. And you're sitting there wondering, oh my God, I can't have as many kids as I want. I can't pay off my student loans. I have to put my kids in daycare because both of us have to work. The cost of daycare is through the roof. They're looking at all these things and going, like, why is the system not working for me? Why is it my money doesn't go as far as it's supposed to go that these boomers and Gen Xers are telling me it should go? So young people and millennials are disenchanted by the system for this reason too. The fifth reason that people are really upset and they're leaning into socialism is the cost of healthcare. And any form of anything to do with health, whether it's mental health or it's your physical health, your health insurance is through the roof. Your cost of therapy is through the roof. If you have a copay or a premium for your health insurance, sometimes the only health insurance you can afford is this really high deductible premium, and you're sitting there going, why am I even paying for health insurance? Every time I want to go do something, it costs me thousands of dollars. Health insurance isn't affordable. So they're like, we need a free public option. We need government health care. We need socialism. Help us, because you guys told us to go through this blueprint and it's not working out. And they feel like they're lied and cheated to for going through this system. The sixth reason that people are leaning toward this is they have no money left over for savings. When they don't have any money left over for going into savings, they feel like they're just getting by. They're like never seeing their little kernel of savings growing and growing and growing. All they see is month after month, year after year, that they haven't moved the needle. Do you know how crappy it feels to be spending 4 years at a job, realize nothing's changed? And it's not because you didn't try, it's because you were told, go get this crazy college degree, go try to do these things, and none of it worked out. And your rent is too high, your car payment's too high, your cost of eating out is crazy. Like, you can't even go out to eat dinner on a regular meal. Like, you're just gonna spend like $80 a person. Like, it is so expensive to eat out. So these young people cannot put any money towards savings. And number 7, which is the last reason that I'm seeing that people are gravitating toward this mentality, is because they can't feel like they're actually enjoying living their life. They can never take a real vacation. They can never go out anywhere and feel like relaxed because of their money situations. Like, do you know how expensive it is to be a tourist in Vegas? It's not what it used to be 10 or 15 years ago. Anytime anyone goes on vacation now, it's completely out of reach. So you look at all these things and they're all compounding on one another. Can't afford a home. I can't save any money. I can't afford health care. I can't buy a car. I can't pay rent. I can't go on vacation. I can't worry about my mental health. Any of these things that young people are trying to get ahead at, they can't get ahead at. And a lot of boomers Not Gen X as much. I'm biased, I'm a Gen X. But not as bad as the boomers. They're going and telling these people, you're lazy and you don't work hard. You need to pull yourself up by the bootstraps. What bootstraps? Like, these young kids don't have bootstraps. Like, you can't, if the house down the street is $1 million and you're making like 50 grand a year, you're never gonna buy that house. You're like pretty much just living to exist, to like go month by month, year by year, and never move the needle. And every once in a while, these young people, they go on Instagram, they see these people. Here's the truth, a lot of them are faking. They're just posting videos of rented cars and houses. Some of them are real, but a lot of it's fake. And all you're seeing is the life that they want you to see, and they can't help it. They're like addicted to their phone, and they're scrolling like crazy, and they're seeing all these lives that they can't have. And they're like, socialism, something to help me. Government, help me. Because government, you put us in this mess. You printed too much money that aced me out of a house, that drove up my rent, that drove up my food. You created this crazy government program in which the colleges can keep raising their fees no matter what, and there's nothing that ever chin checks them and says, yo, you need to lower your fees. They're like, no, no, no. When you're 18 years old, you can sign over like $400,000 to go to college and you can never discharge it. Like, all this stuff, they're sitting there looking at it and they realize like they have no other moves. You're looking at, like, there's a lot of people calling it negative capital because you just can't get ahead. So I believe that you're gonna continue seeing a giant rise in politicians and people talking about socialism. Just like this new mayoral candidate in New York, I think that this is the beginning of the beginning. Just the same way that Red America, Republicans were completely lost and they had to embrace MAGA and Trump. The Democrats have been trying not to embrace these socialistic ideas. But now that they're losing so badly and they see that this mayoral candidate in New York is getting so much traction, I have a feeling that this is the beginning of them heading down this path of going toward more and more socialistic ideology. Thank you. My name is Romeo Razi. I'm a CPA. I used to work at the IRS. You know what to do. Peace.